Let go. We on stream. We on stream. There he is. If you guys want to see Will's outlook, you better tune into the stream because he's not coming to the space. Tune into the stream. Let's go. You can hear him here for sure, but you want to see this if you actually want to see it, you know?
Dicen que tú te la pasas preguntando por mí. ¿Qué vamos a hacer? Aparece, déjate ver, estoy aquí. Te queda bonito tu traer. Hay algo que quiero de ahí. Quítame el dolor, ya se llamaste de besarte cuando está cayendo el sol. Repíteme la canción, porque yo le sigo y ahora voy a vivir porque sabes cómo soy yo. Ella me dice,
It's a bull market. We're not spending any money outside. You see this, Will?
I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my Twitter right now.
All right. Hold on. I knew this shit wasn't working. You see, there's always something. Am I on Twitter? Let me see. Something. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, good. The Twitter never fucking works. The broadcast has ended. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh, you want to end stream? Is that what you said?
Hold on. Do I have to do it again? What's the whole?
Nah, I'm gonna have to go through and redo the freaking live thing. Apparently,
but I thought we did it in settings. That's what I did. It's cool. I'll just add it again.
It's under settings, right?
Yeah, but like normally when you link it here, it works, and then.
What do you go to under settings?
The first time we did it, I thought we did it when we just first got it. So.
Yeah, I mean, originally it was working. Now it doesn't work anymore.
Oh, it says, please reach out to the team owner to upgrade the plan. Access to streaming multiple requested plan. Oh, no, we have that plan. I think there was just too many clicked. Hold on.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's not too many.
You are live. Where else are we live? Let me see something. We're on Twitch, right? We're on YouTube?
Great broadcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. What's up? Happy Tuesday. While I figure all this shit out. What's up with everybody? How you guys feeling? Yeah, I'm trying to sleep better, so that's why I got the blue lights on. I hope everybody had a good day. We have let's see here. Let me see. My brain's kind of like it melted today in the sauna. Oh, I definitely want to talk about Camp Network. That shit's fucking hilarious. I'm gonna go ahead and pin that shit to the top. This made me laugh. Couple of things made me laugh in this today, so we're gonna talk about that, and then also, um, I mean, I don't think it's a big deal, but I think it's important to chat on. Like, I feel like we did a good full circle in the last 4 or 5 years in this space, of like what matters, what doesn't, and there's a perfect example right here of like starting to use different platforms and get out of this crypto Twitter bubble, um, and expand. You know, so yeah, I'm excited. I heard we're going to $50,000 Bitcoin, but Will.
50,000.
Yeah,
So the
yeah, a lot of you fellow folks. Melina, she's here. A lot of Melina said, and I agree with her though. She's like, listen, I don't know about the summer. Summer's looking kind of choppy. So, but yeah, you're the pro. I'll let you kind of get into it. But please, share any screens you need to share. I'm gonna get us live on my Twitter and this other one here in just a second. Well, because I can't do two things at once. Because why would I be able to do that? I'm not able to do that. But yeah, I'll do that now, and then yeah, if you want to jump right into it, go ahead.
yeah, I mean 50K is a bit much, I would say, but I mean we'll see where it goes. I think this 100, 400, I mean, you put the post earlier today. I forget who it was that put it. Some of my friends are telling me they think this could be a lower high type conversations.
Mm,
Friends being them and talking to the mirror at times from time to time. I feel like when people say things like that, they're just expressing what they think and how they feel, and they're not actually being genuine about their actual thoughts on the market, right? They're playing safety a lot of the time. So that's always the typical issue with markets at the moment. With a lot of people, is they're always trying to play safety. Um, I think as far as price action goes, like again, I just continue to see risk play out, man. I think there's a lot of good plays out there right now that are gonna really take off. I think that's something to really kind of pay attention to. And I think that the more people focus on up or down, the less opportunity they're gonna really kind of get into. So I mean, for me, I'm just looking at it for what it is. It's not really a hard pill to swallow. I mean, if we dip down, what do you do? Really, the lowest I see price action going, if we're going to, is 68, and it has to kind of reject up here and come back down and close below here on the weekly or a higher time frame. But I mean, like when you look at it across the board, like monthly looks pretty solid here. Like no reason to really kind of fear the chart at the moment. You get a close up here, especially. This looks really good for a potential continuation push. But if you kind of just hesitate here and don't really kind of, break out from this range, yeah, you could come back down and revisit the lows and all that stuff. But it's nothing to really be scared of, in my opinion. You have to build, like if they were looking to take it all away, in my opinion, they would be looking to sweep. So they'd be looking for like something like this and trying to catch people in a move like this directionally. If we started swinging towards the upside and started building long, I would see a problem with it. But I guess there goes problem. If we were building long, it would be an issue. But yeah, I don't really see an issue with the build long, build short structure at the moment. I think everything looks good. I think overall, just the point with markets is just kind of pay attention to what's going on. I know that this right here can be a little tricky too with price action, because you can be like, oh, we've been building long the whole time. I mean, that is true. That is true. But I don't think you're going to recover all this move. I don't think that that's really the case with this right here. But it has been like this continual uptrend that just continues to be an uptrend. And I think that that's what, people are tending to ignore at the moment. They're just, looking at every optimal opportunity to be fearful about markets versus just trying to look for opportunity to be positive about price action, which I think is very important in the current market. Let's see here real quick. Sorry, I'm just checking to see what's going on here. I don't know if Profits are going to come back in or if she just completely lost connection. But oh, there she is. Okay.
Oh, it's raining in the area. I think my internet went out. I have to unplug the box. I'm using my phone. I'll be right back.
Did you lose Spaces at the same time?
I don't think so. Is it lost?
No, I was just asking.
No, I saved it with the Wi-Fi, but with my hotspot. But now I gotta go reset. Dude, you see? Look, so we're trying to stream. I'm here. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna go reset the box. Literally says it to reset my box. I'm like, why?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about the box thing, but if you need a reset, I got it. Yeah, so overall, price action is what it is. A lot of people are looking for SFP pattern, swing fail pattern. I don't know that really occurs. I wish we get something more like this, to be honest with you, because it could definitely make me more bullish if we got some kind of drawdown build. But we kind of got that, right? So you got your drawdown, breakout, straight, breakout, drawdown, breakout, drawdown, and now we're kind of like in this breakout, but even in this breakout right now, we could come back down and revisit, the lows and still kind of chop sideways. And these are just like megaphone patterns on megaphone patterns at the end of the day. You got megaphone pattern here, blend into another megaphone pattern here. Does this become a breakout or does it end up kind of topping here, right? That's kind of the question. I don't want to adjust this because then people say I'm cheating a little bit. But the reality is like this is kind of what we're looking at right now for price action. So these are always good. This into this is always what you're looking for, right? Drawdown and a breakout, drawdown and a breakout. Drawdown and a breakout is ideal. The only thing you don't want to see is you don't want to see breakout, right? This breakout into breakout. That's what you don't want to see. You don't want to see this type of move where breakout into breakout. Now, a lot of people didn't see this in 2021 coming. This is basically where I was telling people, like, hey, we're about to get cucked. But basically, you had like breakout and a breakout here, right? So you continually had a top here on the weekly time frame. You could kind of see what was going on. It was actually much easier to see on the daily here. But you had this like big uptrend, which was much easier to see visibly here on the daily. And that's kind of what, occurred here. And I don't really see any price action movement, even on a daily time frame, that's really moving like that at the moment. All I'm seeing is this breakdown, breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, breakout. And as long as we continue to see these patterns, it's positive price action. Should you be up here bidding and freaking out? I don't think so. I think that think you should be kind of like just waiting for dips and taking opportunity when you see it, but like don't be bidding the breakouts. Like when you've already shifted from here to here because you were too fearful to buy here because you have people on the timeline screaming that you were going to go here. The reality is like you should have taken the 74K range for what it was. And really I kind of pointed that out on Twitter. Originally, I pointed out the 74K range as being that priority range that a lot of people just continue to ignore overall when it comes to markets. And I think that, if you just sit back and optimally look at these markets for what they are, it's not difficult to understand like what is coming and what you need to be looking for pullbacks. But again, we'll see if this ends up continuing to push through. For me, it has kind of pushed above the levels that it needs to. I think positively, price action could definitely swing back up to the high. But I would tell you, as as an investor and somebody who's looking at this market positively, I would tell you like looking at it from this perspective, right? You could see your high end range here, regardless of how high you think price can go. You start getting near this top range, expect more downside. That's the way I would take this. Like I don't think that you're going to go in to this and stay into this and swing up. I think that you're going to go into this, stay into this, and then eventually swing down below and then swing up, right? That'll be your bear market. Bear market will be this little portion right here. And I think that happens, but I think it happens from much higher. I think it happens from up here. That's kind of the key zone. Just like I was showing right here on this chart right here specifically, where I've outlined all the bears and bulls throughout the cycle and kind of highlight, on that specifically, your bear market occurs over here. Now, a lot of people are going to say no bear market, blah, 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 blah. That's fine, whatever. I think ultimately people should look at this as a bear market potential move. But I think that you have more upside swing before you have more downside swing. So, my ranges are sitting between like mid and high 100K. That's what I'm looking for optimally. And as you can see here too, in addition to that, you also get what we call diminishing returns when it comes to market cycles. You get your original return, which is massive, into a diminished return, into a diminished return, and again into a diminished return. And then your bear market's relatively, kind of in a similar fashion, diminishing returns when it comes to bear markets. So for me, I look at this as opportunity wise, like it's just more upside and then, potential down. Although S&P is
And this summer, what
well.
do you think? What do you think this summer?
It's tricky, man. The summertime's always tricky because I always look at it like this, like people spend differently in summer than they spend through the rest of the year. And why do they spend differently through summer? Why do they spend differently through summer, Profits? What is the spending habits of a typical consumer through summertime?
Traveling, vacationing, stuff like that. Also, like big businesses they're taking a break.
Yep. So you get vacations, you get traveling, you get spending. So you get less eyes on the stock market. It's not you and I who are moving the stock market as individuals. Like it's basically your top 10% of money movers in the market that are moving the markets. Essentially, it's like everybody thinks collectively everybody comes together and moves the market. No, it's your top 10% that come in and buy and sell the market typically. So from my perspective, I
So
think
what's
again,
the all-time high?
on what?
So what's the all-time?
I just said it. Mid to 100K. That's what it is for Bitcoin. It's mid to 100K in my opinion.
For now.
For this cycle. That's what ATH should get to.
What, 130?
150 to 170 is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that means I'm taking profits at 130, 140. Because that shit ain't gonna stay up there long.
It won't. Yeah, likely it's gonna be just like last cycle. People are gonna like.
I feel like you said 200 at one point. What changed that? Didn't you say 200 at one point? Or I'm tripping? No. Oh.
No. A lot of people have said 200. A lot of people have. But like I've always stayed mid to high 100s. That's where it only makes sense, right? Like with diminishing returns and everything else, basically the whole cycle being built out, it's like we're not going to swing out of this. Like we're going to swing, hit a freaking ceiling and then roll. It's how this shit goes. Like people want to hear what they want to hear at the end of the day. That's what this always comes down to. It comes down to people wanting to hear something. And then they initially come in and they're like, oh man, you told me what I wanted to hear, so I'm going to listen to you. People don't want to hear like what truly is likely, the more likely scenario to happen. That's just how these cycles go. I mean, S&P here too, the tricky part with S&P right now is that it looks like it's having issues with two of your links there, Profits.
I know. I'm fixing it.
Oh, gotcha. Um, the tricky part with the S&P right now is you got gaps. You got gaps now. So, like, for me to believably think that the S&P is just going to go vertically, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Like, especially the S&P on the weekly, you're gonna fill these gaps. You're gonna fill those gaps, which means you'll be coming back down likely before you'll be going up, or maybe you'll be going up and then coming back down. But you'll be filling this gap. It'll happen. I mean, that's Forex 101 for anybody who trades stocks. I think that's a fairly simple one to kind of understand and think about. So for me, I just look at it like either we top here, come back down, revisit, and run, or we potentially come up here and then come back down big and then run. And the one part I had marked out here for the S&P, which I think is really important, is this trend, right? We broke that trend. We came down, we revisited an old support. And then once we revisited that old support, we ran back above trend, which is our bull trend. And now we've got a gap here that could push us back to trend before we take off. Another thing too, and this one's actually, man, I can't believe I nailed this one. And that was Coinbase, man. Coinbase, I freaking nailed that stock on that note.
That shit was like $60 for at one point. I remember.
No, but look here what I had drawn out.
Flawless.
Now, where do you think I got this from?
Bitcoin?
Mm-mm.
What?
Ethereum. That's where I came up with this thesis from, because Coinbase was up here when Ethereum was right here. And a lot of people don't actually realize that. Like I've been telling people, like, Coinbase follows Ethereum pretty heavily at that. So if we look here at these two, here's Coinbase right here. And then over here, we can pull up the ETH chart real fast. And we can look at the ETH chart here. And we'll put this on the weekly. And we'll look at it from this perspective. So what I had marked out on Coinbase and Ethereum was, this was your trend here on Ethereum, right? And this was your trend right here on Coinbase. And what I noticed is right over here, you saw Ethereum start to break down big time, right? And it basically swung into its low shoulder right here. Well, when I started to see Ethereum break here, I was like, okay, this thing's going to roll because it broke trend, right? Broke trend, came back up, retested trend. And this is why I always tell people, wait for the retest to exit. Never exit the low. Wait for the retest, exit, and then let it roll, right? So it broke trend right here. And this is where I said right here that Coinbase was going to roll too. I was like, if Ethereum rolled, I was like, Coinbase is going to roll and it's going to break trend. And what we saw here is we saw essentially Ethereum break trend, run back up, retest. Again, keep in mind, retest its bull trend and then reject it, which is normal. It's normal to come back up, retest your bull trend before you roll, and then roll. And then it came back down and tested a lower trend, right? So the trend it tested right here was all the way down here. The other space in profits are asking the other space in.
Yeah, no, that's why, that's the point. I reeled y'all in. Come to the fucking stream. We're not restarting the space. My manager Will said I'm not allowed.
Manager. Look, the point being is, after it rolled, all right, after it rolled here, this was your initial signal that you could have shorted Coinbase. After it rolled here, came back up, retested, right? As Ethereum was retesting here, Coinbase was testing its lows. And then what did you see? You saw Ethereum roll and you saw Coinbase follow. And Coinbase came all the way back down and retested which low? Its previous low. Now, what does this mean overall? And why do I have this drawn right here? So I had this drawn right here before. Now, keep in mind, I did this and I have it in a video. I did all this before any of this breakdown occurred. So this breakdown occurred, price rolled, and then where did it bounce? Right on the same support as the other area right here, right in our September lows. So we bounced right into our September lows. And then what has Coinbase been doing since then? Up only. Now, here's the tricky part, all right? If Ethereum ran and rolled here, what do you think that Coinbase is going to do when it gets up to here? I thought they were going to draw this out longer, by the way, but apparently they're going to swing this fast. We're not putting what's all time. So what happened, or what's likely to happen here, is Coinbase is likely to do this. And we're doing it live right here in front of everybody.
Live.
It's likely to follow what ETH did. It's very likely to follow. I would say Coinbase is lagging Ethereum. So, take with that information what you will. I'm just saying, might be some nice puts. I think it's worth hedging.
So I should just sit in my hands in the summer or sell everything?
I think summer is going to be a bloodbath for stocks. I really do. I think summer is going to be a bloodbath for stocks.
You heard that, Melina? Let's go back to Dubai.
So the problem is crypto, right? To me, it's almost like crypto's front running stocks because you had this price run up, you had this roll, and then crypto's already bouncing back, right? Now we're getting ready to come back into that trend. We have to get above this trend. Likely what you want to see is Ethereum all the way up here within the next 3-4 months. You want to see Ethereum up here. You don't want to see it hesitating around trend. You got to get back above this bull trend. This is your bull trend. You get back above bull trend, you're good. Coinbase is getting ready to come up and retest bull trend, which is making me very hesitant that Coinbase is going to roll. Now, how deep does it go? Does it go? What I would look for
is your love? Sorry.
Is I would look for levels, right? So you got level 1, then you get level 2, and then you get like level 3 right here, right? So you're not going to get this deep. Likely, it's going to be 1 or 2. That's what it's going to be, in my opinion. It's going to be 1 or 2. So it's going to be this one or this one. That'll be that low before we bounce back up. And then we'll get this right here for stocks. To me, crypto is leading stocks the way Ethereum said. So risk is leading the stock market at the moment. So we'll see what happens here. I really think we're going to get crushed here on Coinbase specifically. I think Coinbase is going to retest this high, and then it's going to roll. Again, you're just retesting the bull trend the same way you did here on ETH, and then roll, and then hit a much lower target here. I think crypto is starting to recover. I think stocks are getting ready to get smoked.
Again?
Not again, like in a big way.
Like Nvidia going lower than $60?
I don't know what Nvidia is at, man. I haven't looked at Nvidia in a while.
140. It's at 140.
I don't think Nvidia is going to.
Or no, 130.
It could.
Well, no, because I just feel like we had a good opportunity a couple of weeks ago.
Nvidia got really in there, didn't it? Holy crap. Yeah, if Nvidia gets smoked here.
Did you look? Hold on. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead with your. Go ahead.
It's coming down to here. if it gets wrecked here. So there's really no support outside of the range it already retested. If you come back down and retest that range, I don't see it as holding. I think you'll fall right through it.
I was gonna say, like, I guess selfishly, I'm feeling like I didn't buy enough stocks and Bitcoin when, well, Bitcoin for sure, but like I didn't buy enough stocks like recently, so I'm like, oh, we got another
Mm.
opportunity.
Yeah, I hate to be that person. I really do. I know there's a lot of people hype beasting right now, running the timeline. I think there's opportunity right now. I think there's a window of opportunity, right?
Leverage.
But
There's a lot of
selling,
leverage opportunity, I think.
yeah, the sell in May thing may still come to fruition. May isn't over yet. People got to remember that. This is only the
Yeah.
beginning. So like and I know people don't want to hear that. It's fine. Look, I'm not here to stroke people's ego. I'm not here to make people feel good. I'm here to make people money. There's a difference. And the way you make money is to try and be as precise as possible on the market. So I'm trying to be precise here. Now, am I bullish right now on risk? Yes. I think there's a window of opportunity here to where risk can really run. Like we already saw Mudang and a few other ones kind of run, right? And I think that if you play it right,
Mm.
you can catch some of the liquidity. And that's what I'm trying to help people do right now on the timeline. But I do think that there'll be a sell opportunity at some point where you have to sell and you're going to have to let it run down more. Or you let it ride and you play this out to Q4 and you really make some money. It's got to be one or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And I think if you already got in low, it really doesn't matter at this point because you're probably not getting $1,400 ETH again. Like, I know you remember Profits. Me and Cam, we were talking about buying in those ranges, and like I bought, and I was like, and Cam's like, yeah, I bought too, and I was like, oh shit, I was like, yeah, I was like, it's cheap ETH. I'm like, people just don't get it. It's cheap ETH, and then when you double down with memes, it's even more. So it's like tripling, quadrupling. You know, you're catching an insta 4 or 5x on a 2x move on a meme coin plus a 2x move on ETH. So it's a good double up play, essentially. And that's the way I played it at the low. And now I think there's opportunity to run these up for a little bit, but I think that the market's going to come to a cool down as far as stocks go. I don't know about crypto. Crypto to me, again, when I go back to ETH and I look at ETH and I look at the market from ETH's perspective, and I look at it from the perspective of Coinbase. Coinbase looks like it wants to roll. ETH looks like it might have bottomed. That's the way I look at these two. So it's completely different. Profits. I got one of you up here and one of you down there. Hey, do you see yourself up here twice?
Yeah, the internet was messing up. It should be
There we
good
go.
now.
I think I fixed it. Yeah.
Yeah, should be good.
So, yeah, that's my thoughts overall. Stocks looking a little overheated. I mean, you even saw with the S&P, there's a gap there, right? Which means you have to go lower. And then in addition to that, it looks like Coinbase might be retesting its bull trend, which means likely you'll get a roll. Whereas crypto right now looks like it pretty much front ran stocks on the drop. It really does. Like this downtrend right here looks really strong to be some type of, breakout. The other thing too here with ETH that looks pretty interesting. I mean, you can see it here on the monthly, and I think this is really interesting too. Is you have a kind of like a what I would consider a bull flag forming on Ethereum here. You got this downtrending price action, and typically when you start to move this way, you look for a breakout, right? You're looking for a swing long somewheres. Could this be the beginning of it? Sure.
When you play those, do you like I mean, I know we're not going to give a whole lesson in like a couple of minutes, but for those that do trade, and kind of take these moves, like what percentage are you normally looking for? And I know it's based off of like the timing of the market, like in this case these days, what percentage is comfy? Cuz I feel like for me, there's been times where I kind of get too bullish too fast, and I'm like in the move perfectly, but then I've showed you like, damn, like I could have made more, and then it pulled back, and I should have just ate that, let it pull back, re-enter, right? So I guess
Mhm.
like, how do you determine what percentages you're looking for?
It depends on how big the drawdown is and the length of the drawdown, right? And this is something I've actually just like I've been doing this for a long time, and I've just kind of come into this thought process that the more I pay attention to how long the drawdown's been and how deep the drawdown has been, the more upside I can expect. Whereas, like, if it's a smaller drawdown, it's going to give a lot less, at least in the beginning, right? Like, I'll give you an example with Bitcoin here. Bitcoin has an amazing example, by the way. This drawdown right here, all you should be really expecting is somewhere's around the high, right? So you draw down and you break out to the high, essentially the high of the move, or you fulfill the beginning of the drop. So when you're in a drop pattern and you start to really kind of like change, so think of this as like, a lot of people would think of this as like one big drop pattern, right? But you have to look at where the drop pattern shifted. They look at it like this and they're like, oh, this is all one drop pattern. Not really, because the reality is if you look at this drop pattern started to shift here, right? And if you bump it up a notch, it actually gets easier to see and understand where the drop pattern actually occurred. It actually occurred here because you had more consolidation. So this is an actual drop pattern. This is like a waterfall, right? So you get this into a flush. You get a drop, move up, right? A swing long into a flush. And a flush is a way of the market kind of pushing people out of the move, getting them to jump out versus stay in.
Nice. Well
So
said.
for me, like I always look at it like this part, when you stop flushing and you start to actually do a drawdown pattern, you should look for the same equal plus, probably part of your flush move if you're in a downtrend. If you're not in a downtrend, you should look for an equal move to the size of your expansion to the downside, right? So like, for instance, this here should be expected up here. So what I would do is I'd take one of these right here, and I would just take it to where the top is here, bottom is there, stack it on top of your move. What do you notice? We hit on the money. You didn't even look. I just showed you.
I'm reposting. No, that was more for everybody else. I kind of get it. I've done that once or
So
twice where I'm like, I should have just stick to my guns. Like I know better. That's another thing. Like breaking your rules is a whole other thing because this logically makes sense.
So your drawdown is your breakout, and then your breakout again, right, should be your drawdown. So people's expectations again will ideally likely put us right in the range I was talking about. You can see right here, look. If we stack this same high, right, same size move on top of where we are right now, relatively right in here, it would put us at 166K.
Damn.
If we're looking for a breakout move. So this, and where would that land us on top of that? That's the other thing I think not enough people are thinking about.
I think
If
I'm
we
gonna
break
load
out
up
here,
out and just set it at 20x. Make sure there's enough juice, and
look,
take profit in December.
see that top right there? See that top right there?
Yeah.
This would land us right up there.
Mm.
It just depends on where we swing.
Solana topping out at. And after that, I want to talk about. Did you see that? Did you see this launch coin shit today?
Yeah. Somebody apparently in BB caught it, but really early.
The launch coin itself. Yeah, I saw that launch, but I'm saying it's a. I guess it's like between that and I think it's on Believe app or something. It's like they're launching games that are instantly tokens. I'm not sure why this hasn't come out before. Maybe it has. I don't know why it's getting attention now. But Yeah, like I'm talking about traditional games like Snake, Boom Coin, attached to it. You know, prediction markets launched, instant coin. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. Are you frozen? Oh, I was
No.
like, bro, my internet fucking
no,
up again. Oh shit.
no,
Oh dear.
I'm here.
Yo, you
No, I
guys,
was,
make sure you repost the stream. You like the beautiful faces? Yeah, I know, I know. We're gonna keep up with these. Um, we're gonna slowly drift. We're gonna slowly drift. If
yeah,
you're on Twitch,
we'll get it going.
get on those for sure. But definitely repost the stream. Appreciate it. But yeah, what's your thoughts on it? Did you play with any other launch coins? Did you?
Nah, nah. The thing is like for some people the gimmicks are their thing, right? They like the gimmicks.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't like gimmicks. I like to get straight to the raw money.
Mm.
And if there's no money involved, I'm just not.
Well,
Even if you're like, oh, play.
there is, but you don't want to play the game. I get you.
I don't want to play the game because
Yeah.
the game when you play a game, the game is always rigged,
Mm.
right? And in my opinion, it's again that's just my perspective of things. And so if the game is always rigged, why would I want to waste my time playing a game that I know is rigged?
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's like going to the casino and saying I'm going to play slots and I'm going to win $100,000.
We're gonna go to
Like,
the casino soon.
but here's the thing: playing slots. What do you think your odds are of winning $100,000? I understand some people are good at cards, but playing slots, what do you think your odds are?
Nah, yeah, no. What do you think of What do you think of Bonk and this Bonk launchpad?
Uh, Bonk token.
Yeah, they
That's got a
launched a
bonk.
launchpad. They
I
launched
know.
a token. Yeah,
They
but Bonk is.
they they created utility. Now they go to zero.
Oh wow, damn. By the way, if anybody wants to request, you can request to come by asking here, and then I'll send you a link. More than welcome to pull up. We are just testing waters here. But yeah, you're more than welcome to pull up or comment below. But really, I thought the opposite.
Bonk. Nah,
Yeah, I
man.
feel like
Like,
this is like a good idea for them because they were kind of been relevant and been compared and been the biggest forever. So like I don't. What do you?
oh, no problem, girl in the verse. I'm glad you caught a
She's
W
being
there.
sarcastic. She didn't catch that shit.
Oh, she didn't.
No, I'm just kidding. She probably did. She probably did. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
I was gonna say, oh
At
no,
least y'all
man.
catching it because I'm his fucking exit liquidity.
I told you to buy profits.
Bro,
I
I
told
bought
you to
everything
buy.
else but that.
Everything's gone up. What do you mean?
No, not up, dog. I'm still mad about that one.
It's just hang in there.
I'm
Right?
trying.
Just hang in there. Cabal coins are probably Captain B and B and Queen. I think both of those are Cabal coins. Just gonna throw them out there. So I'm playing them because I think the Cabal is gonna run them up, and so I'm playing them. I don't
Where do
care.
you think?
Like,
Where do you think? So I made a tweet today. Go to my Twitter. I made a tweet today about this niche continuously, and this is going to go with our conversation from last night. But this whole CT, this whole sector, continues to raise and praise. And we have a group chat. We both send bullshit all the time. Like, what the fuck? Why is this getting attention? And you see a lot of shit that is literally shit, copycats, bullshit. There's so many BZ copycats. Don't get me fucking started. Like, there's so much shit, and I'm not even just saying because of that. Just so much shit that gets praise, it gets volume, it gets the numbers, it gets the fucking funding, right? This funding. And I know now, shopping for VCs and angels, that the VCs in this space are just fucking high frequency traders. And that's not bad. They got the money. Some of them have helped some really good products. I think more have like gotten hurt because of the way the model is. That's a whole other thing. But basically was talking about how we praise the shitty, but then don't triple down on the good shit that's here. And then, to our convo last night, we both have been saying for a long time, we are sick of this bubble. We enjoy creating here. It's fun. We love to share our thoughts, educate, get things out. Like it's fun. Like I love the feedback we get. We get great questions. We get great topics. We get different brains. Like and it just goes into a bigger conversation. But in reality, we're not huge on YouTube yet. We're not huge on TikTok. And the only way that's going to happen is doing this. And so, but I say all that to say, like, even a fucking high level creator, like, think of the best ones here. Like, which, let's be real, not many. They would do better outside of this space. But in reality, we stay here. I'm not even considering myself top 5 or none of that. I'm just consistent. But like I guess what I'm getting at is in a way, this content is also very niche itself. So it's like breaking out of this whole we're trying something that's hard. Like it's easy to go on Twitch and talk about gambling all day. That's like universal. We're not trying to do that. We're not trying to talk about meme coins all day. There's nothing wrong with like if that's like your style, but like I'm not trying to get engagement in that way. I could care less. That's cool, but like I'm not. So I guess what I'm getting at is like, where do you see? Because we're at the fucking almost 5 years. This Bitcoin's been around for 10 years. There's secondary class of altcoins, maybe 6 or 7. Now you got Web3. It's been around almost 5 years, maybe 6 years, and it's per se, I guess. Where do you see it pivoting? Your most positive brain, and then give your realistic take as well.
I mean, do you want my input on what I think about Twitter, or do you want my input on just like where do I think things are evolving?
I said a lot. Get your engineer brain out. I'm just saying more or less from like how to grow. Like CT itself is always going to be CT, but like any great builder, mine like yours, like we're not going to just stay in here. And the ones that have branched off, they just tweet to tweet. They don't fucking hang out here. And the ones that get the thousands of the likes and shit like that. So yeah, where like, do you see this staying the same, getting worse, getting better as a niche, as where this specific content lives, or do you see this kind of dispersing out?
Well, I think smart creators, smart individuals who have a bit of a good head on their shoulders, right? We don't want to insult.
Yeah.
But ones that have a good head on their shoulders understand the theme or the thesis of where things are going for education, for entertainment, for everything, right? In reality, for sales, the whole nine. It's really a shift towards multi-streaming. It's not a shift towards Twitter. And that's where a lot of people get caught up. They get caught up in the conversation of, well, this is the only crypto Twitter is where you find all the no crypto Twitter is where you extract. A lot of crypto Twitter is extracting. That's all they're doing. That's not where you find the latest and greatest.
Is there any positive to extracting aside from the? I mean,
if you're the extractor, yes, there's a positive to it. If you're the extractor,
but you're saying there's people there that are like, are we extracting?
I think we're there trying to find the niche that needs to be fulfilled, and I think there's a lot of them, and that's honesty. And I think like being an upstanding person to a degree, and trying to just be straight up, like not there to rob people, not there to use people to make money, but they're trying to provide value. But I think value does have a cost to it.
Now
I do think that.
I'm gonna fuck you up a bit because I recently realized I was going through a whole bunch of old DMs. There's a handful of really good people. I'm talking about the thread writers. I don't know if you remember Zero, just good content creators, good info people that they have families and shit like that and other priorities. So I get it. You can't spend as much time, but they've drifted off completely because they weren't getting paid for their time. And they've like pivoted completely. Like I'm talking about really good creators. They try to shoot their shot and try to be, do stuff for free and do stuff for a little bit of money here and there. And, this is a part of the reason why I started Exposed Media, for creators that don't know how to price themselves, don't really get the deal flow, don't get the attention, but they have the engagement, right? But because let's be real, this whole entire fucking space is who do you know? I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Talent for sure helps. Absolutely. But I've never ever gotten connected faster to people and things until my following was higher. It's just it is what it is. Oh shit, and then it
Well,
helps if you have a good name and a reputation. But my point is though, this is my point. Like now that there's to back to the people that have left, I feel like it's gonna keep happening. It's gonna keep a cycle of gamblers coming in, extractors coming in, take, leave, whatever, success story, come back, do some other shit. It's like a fucking washing machine in a way. Like how do we capitalize off of this? How do the people here watching, what's the positive shift to this?
I think like and I talked to you about this a little bit last night. Twitter is not the best format for people to try to live there or try to grow there, right? Twitter should be something you're trying to grow, but it's more to be able to communicate with people. It's not about growth per se of you as a creator if you're trying to create, or if you're trying to educate, or if you're trying to entertain, whatever your thought process is. Twitter more often than not. Did you see Threads guys post today?
Today, no. What did it say?
So he posted today a great thread kind of explaining on this, and basically talking about how Twitter is more of like an echo chamber of what you want to hear versus actual real news or real information.
Sure, for sure agree with that.
And that's kind of what I gathered from the conversation. I think that's a really deep conversation we all need to have with ourselves inside. I think not enough people think about that. They come to Twitter to get the information they want to hear. They don't want to hear both sides of the conversation. They just want to hear one.
Yes, I agree. Yes, because I try to come and listen to everything. But yeah, I agree. Most people, yep. Which
is very echo chambery, right? And I feel like CT Twitter is another one of those that's echo chambery and predatory at the same time, because it not only capitalizes on the echo chamber, it also capitalizes on bait and switch, getting people into coins right before they get ready to dump. And I've seen it time and time again on Twitter, especially with the whole bait and switch. Now, it's not to come down on CT Twitter and say there's not value there. There's value there. I think that if you can find the right corners and the right rat holes, you can definitely make money.
Jeez,
but you have rat holes? I call them rat holes because they're small niches in the space that a lot of people can't find, right? You have to be it, and a lot of people.
How many rat holes you in?
Look, a lot of people like to go towards the word cabal, towards the word, like a group of people can collaborate and figure out how to capitalize on the space, and people will call it a cabal, right?
Yeah, facts.
But the reality is, the only time it's really a cabal is when you're in control of everything. So it's a cabal if those group of people. Well, it depends on what type of cabal. So you got cabals that are just a group of people that are good traders. That's not a bad cabal, I don't think. I think that traders are there to extract at the end of the day, but they're not there to bait and switch you into extraction. And then you've got other type of cabals to a degree, right, that are more bait and switch type cabals. And I hate that word. I hate the word cabal. I think it's one of the worst words.
Yeah, but we adopted it. Now it's over.
Yeah, well, Twitter adopted it, and now it's the only word people understand. You can't tell them another word because they don't understand it. So you tell them cabal, they're like, oh yeah, I know what a cabal is. And so there's two types. There's a type that of groupthink where people are working together.
Get back to stop. Hold on, William. She didn't pay attention to the session. You think this is a free session? Motherfuckers better get in the Discord. It's called Give a Little Bit. So now you're addicted. You didn't hear what he said about Q3 and Q4? You better fucking get those stocks that you want. And then guess what? When they dip, get more. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Can you answer your question?
No, answer her. If you think stocks will dump this summer, yeah, I think stocks will dump this summer. That's what I was explaining with Coin and a few others.
Yeah,
The
girl.
S&P has a gap.
We back to Dubai.
Coin's gonna roll. Yes, I think we're gonna get a
Melina's
dip.
had a long day. We got to get her a badge.
Melina can come up here on stage if she's got questions.
Nope. She's with fucking Steve in the man in the verse right now. They
Look.
cuddled up in the verse. They're cuddled up in the verse.
All right, look. All she's got to do is put on the green screen. Her and him can hang out on the couch. Just hold up the phone, and then you can get on the.
Please read the whole question. Hey Will, when we get back to stocks, LOL. Oh, you're right. You didn't demand this. If you think stocks will dump this summer, do you believe they will rally in Q3 and Q4?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, me too.
And that's what I've been talking about the whole time, right? That's why I've been telling people, like, don't panic. Like, there's opportunity here, but don't panic.
It's organic. Don't panic. It's organic. That's the slogan.
It's part of the process. It's part of the process to weed out the weak.
How long have you been playing piano?
Too long, Prophets. Too long. I actually do have a piano downstairs.
Bro, I'm messing with you. I still think this is your real house.
I know. I know. No, but now I wanted to get back to the conversation around. You know what? I don't even care about it. Like, look, at the end of the day, Twitter is a good place to engage with people. I think Spaces is a good place for friends to communicate and talk and chat and bullshit. I don't feel like they have a lot of value. I told you that, Prophets, last night. We had this discussion. I feel like you have more value with multi-stream, and you can create better streams of revenue through multi-stream than you can through Spaces or any of these other just talking interaction type conversations. Doesn't mean you shouldn't hold Spaces, but what it does mean is that you should put most of your energy towards, multi-streaming, and because you can create that residual, and that residual is what you want. You always want residual revenue. And then I remember we had the conversation, and Prophets was like, well, I got to look cute. And I was like, no, you don't.
Why you gotta blow me on the spot? This is crazy.
Prophets is always on point, but she was like, oh, I got to look. It's like, bro, you always on point. What do you mean? You be having a half bad day, and you're always out there, rocking the latest and everything. She acts like she got to get up in the morning and do all this stuff. It's like, no, you don't.
Bruh. I'm sending the stream out to people to see who joins. Who wants to join the stream? Let me just put it right here. Fuck it. Right? Fuck it?
No. No.
Oh, I just did it. Fuck. Hold on. How do I delete it?
Because people will come in and they'll try and do the whole takeover thing, and then.
Well, fuck it. Let's just go viral.
Nah.
Delete it.
Delete all that.
Hold on.
Delete comment.
Okay, you got it.
Delete comment.
You're like, no.
Yeah, never do that. You get scammers that try to come in too.
Oh, shit.
I don't know how to get it off your
Twitch.
Oh, we gotta get rid of that.
Hold on a second. No.
Yeah, don't put it up there. We're gonna get some Twitch people in here.
Oh shit, we got Melina.
Oh shit. There we go. Oh man, where's Man in the Verse? Is he hiding? He's right there behind you. Is he holding the camera? You're muted, by the way. You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Here, we'll just.
I don't know how I still see you on my TV.
There we go. Oh man, where's Man in the Verse?
I'm trying.
Oh man,
Guy in the verse is hiding.
Guy in the verse.
He's hiding.
What's up, Will?
Tell him stop hiding and start streaming. What's up, man?
Yeah, he just. No, you'll meet him. You'll meet him IRL, but he won't do the video stuff. He puts me there.
Oh, it's not that bad, man. It's not that bad. Look, you're just putting your face out there. It's all good.
As long as we don't live in Paris, because I'm a little worried about those Parisians.
Bro, I saw that shit. That's just crazy. Did you see that, Will?
What happened?
Somebody
found some daughter. Yeah, some crazy.
Hold on, you guys didn't tell me.
Family and friends, yeah.
Oh, kidnapping. Yeah. I mean, like, look, if I'm gonna be kidnapped in the day, it's gonna happen. Doesn't matter. My face is out there. I'm just gonna get kidnapped. Is what it is.
Bro, you respectfully, nobody's kidnapping your ass. They'd be too intimidated.
I live in a pretty good neighborhood. It's not gonna be too easy, but if you can get in here, good luck.
Remember, I'm not gonna get too specific because we're live and I don't want to throw this person. It's not public. But remember what I told you about that YouTuber that something had happened, got caught up in where you're at. Remember? I'll text you the name. But
You talking
basically,
about
don't name drop. But I'll text you the name. The point is, the news came out recently. It was 2 kids from Florida that were ordered by somebody else. They were like, I want to say they were like 20 and 22. They drove to over there. They kidnapped them and they took him about 100 yards out to Arizona. They were on the phone getting instructed what to do as far as like the seed phrases and like what. So it was somebody else controlling the situation. And then even went as far as getting one of his parents. And like, yo, like you better do this or I got one of your parents. So we had thought originally it was like some like girl fucking trick shit. You know how it is over there where you're at. Like there's a lot of that going on and like prostitution and tricking people. But it was 2 young fucking kids that fucking kidnapped a grown ass fucking man. Granted, I mean that person's probably, I'm not even gonna do it. It's just not as many. It's just a lot of YouTubers, but. Probably a little heavier than me, maybe, but yeah, bro, pretty sick, pretty wild.
I feel like I missed the whole Twitter chatting about going live. I do have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, no, I would love to hear it. I would love to hear it. Go ahead. This man is partial.
Yeah. So, a little about me. I've worked in marketing for a long time. I agree with both of you in the sense of like, I think live streaming is probably the best bet right now. The hard part I would say about YouTube and TikTok, all that is like a lot of SEO, right? So like if we would maybe work on some better titles that like, Will, like when you watch a YouTube video, it's like, is Bitcoin going to hit 150K this week? Like some clickbait stuff, it's like
put some bullshit title out there.
Yeah, like that's literally.
I was thinking that today too. I was like, our engagement is probably low because of the title. We
you know what I mean? It's like things like that I feel like work on YouTube. And then what I noticed too is because we're so deep on Twitter, but like the rest of the world isn't. Like they have no idea who Frank D. Gods is. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if you're using keywords like Bitcoin, like just more general words, I feel like we could probably garner an audience that's like more Web 2, let's say, that's trying to learn. I've noticed that a lot. Like I play with a lot of my videos and I notice like I'll put the same video everywhere and it will not work or it doesn't slap just because some people just won't know what that project is or you know what I mean? You got to be very, very basic is what I've noticed anyway, especially with Web 2 people. Yeah. But I like this whole idea of doing live stream. Yeah.
I don't know how.
The edit button up top.
Here on the stream?
Yeah.
You trying to be funny? What do you want to name it? And don't say some corny shit.
Web3
Whatever we were talking about, right? Like stocks will drop this summer. I don't know. Like we were talking about
big drop incoming.
It doesn't let me. Hold on. Oh, I see it. Never mind. I see.
Yeah.
What do you want to call it, William?
When will Angelina Jolie show her next movie?
Bruh. What?
Justin Bieber, does he have drug problems?
Poor Justin. Poor Justin.
Just start slamming out different random ass titles.
Yeah, exactly.
And then talk about crypto the whole time. Just change the title.
No, but yeah. I mean it, right? Like one of my top videos on YouTube right now is literally me opening up my crypto.com card. It's so dumb. It's nothing. There's no info there. But because people love crypto.com, right? That's what they're searching for. I would say like stocks, I don't know, stocks will crash this summer or like something like is Bitcoin, I don't know.
Just put a big red arrow coming down, stocks going to zero. Housing market going to zero. Car market collapsing.
Yeah.
I mean, the car market collapsing is a real thing. I'm just saying.
I think it's going to be a real thing. I also think the housing market, I'm already seeing it. I think it's going to go down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, housing and cars.
Yeah.
Both. I don't know if we're going to get a 2008 style collapse in housing, but cars for sure. Cars are about to get smoked.
So I feel like for US, probably not, but I feel like for Canada, probably yes. I think this is our 2008 coming.
Oh, your 2008 is coming?
I think so.
Just be ready. Just be ready. If you get a 2008, let me know. I'm going to become a Canadian. All right.
No, I'm trying to come on your side. I'm like, when green card, you know? I'm like, even the 51st state. No joke.
Look, all you got to do, go down to South Africa and then be a citizen and tell them that your land is being stolen. They will get you. Yeah. They'll get you over here faster than anything. You didn't hear about that?
No, and I did my honeymoon in South Africa. I wish I knew what
happened. So apparently there's something right now. This is what Trump says. There's something with the where Africans are attacking and killing South African white people. And so he just imported a bunch of them into the US. And now there's a fight between the Democrats and the Republicans over it. And so that's why I said he's literally bringing all of them over if they want to at that point.
Did you see he was paying people to leave? Just go to the airport, he says. Just go to the airport. Melina, Will thought that was an AI video.
Bro, when I first saw it, I thought it was AI.
I need to see it. I haven't even seen this.
Really? I'll bring it up right now, right here. This is fucking...
The quality is not that good. It's on IG.
Bro, you are hilarious. The way it's so easy to fucking go to the internet and search, you're just, oh no, it's AI. I'm like, bro, just search.
I said it looks like AI. That's what I said. I said it looks like AI. And then you and Cam are like, yeah, it gotta be AI. No, Cam's one is like, yeah, that's AI. And I was like, oh, really? He was like, yeah. We need to get Cam on here.
That's like when I'm talking to my parents, like, no, we saw this on Facebook. You're like, it's not real.
It's AI, Mom. Stop.
I worry for them, honestly. I really do worry for our parents. I'm like, Mom, no one, I will never call you for money. Don't believe these people who are calling with my voice. Because my voice, I mean, I've been a public figure for a really long time. Like, it's so easy. Snap 1, 2, 3.
National news on Monday. The Trump administration announcing today it will begin offering a $1,000 stipend to undocumented migrants who agree to self-deport to their home countries. The Department of Homeland Security said that it's also paying for travel assistance. And they said people who use their CBP Home app to tell the government they plan to
Can we talk about this a little bit?
Will be deprioritized for detention and removal by immigration enforcement. Plus, in what could be a new front of President Trump's Terror 4, the president suggested that the movie industry could be his next focus.
Deport all the movie stuff.
And I'm saying, if they're not willing to make a inside the United States, and we should have a tariff.
The president
always got a tariff them if they make a movie outside the U.S.
Reopen and expand Alcatraz. That's the former notorious prison located off the coast of San Francisco, and he wants to house America's most ruthless and violent offenders there.
Crazy.
Interesting. So, let's just start with the whole thing. So he's going to pay them to leave, which you and I talked about this, Prophets. He said that he's going to, that his statement is that it will be cheaper to pay them to leave than to leave them here.
Correct. And then you get more when you actually officially leave.
Yeah. He'll give you more when you actually leave. But the one part I find funny, I just want to throw this out there, is the fact that he said, we'll give you a ticket to anywhere. It's like, you're going to give them a ticket anyways, because you're deporting them. You're not doing anything special by giving them a ticket. You're just saying this. It's no different.
Well, fair enough. I think the process of no, but I mean, don't they have to like if they just go to the fucking airport, you have to go through a whole process. Apparently that whole process is lengthy. So they're just saying go to the airport. Like go to the airport, go check in, let them know you're leaving. There's like a special line for this, it sounds like something. Like normally it's a whole process, it seems like.
Maybe there is. I don't know if there's
I don't know. This is just the wildest shit I've ever seen, I think. I just think that's and then the way he was saying it, oh my God, what fucked me up in the last part was is he said, I gotta find that clip. He basically was like, and if we think you're good enough to come back, we'll invite you back.
What the if you apply after you leave.
I was like, what? Like some shit like so I get it. People are fighting to stay here to prove that they're working and all that, but they're going through shit. Like I know people like in Cali, I've heard this a lot, where people are like scared to go to work and certain things because, you know, they're like expired or not expired, but they're always getting messed with. Just shitty shit, especially during elections.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's different levels to it. I think work visas are different from like, you know, student visas. Student visas are different from like, you know, permanent resident visas. Permanent resident visas are different from like temporary resident visas. And then like you got, you know, obviously that's the part I hate is like the media tries to put all of it as if it's all one thing under one umbrella. But in reality, there's different levels to each one of these things, right? And like I think there was a path at one point for some of these to become a citizen. Like if you were on a work visa and you were here working, there was a path for a while to where you can go from a work visa to a permanent resident visa, you know, if you can get a sponsor and stuff. And I don't know if that path is still open, but there was a path for that at one point. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that personally, especially if you're working certain types of jobs. Like if you're like an engineer, you're like a doctor, you're like a nurse, or you're like, you know, like anything in those categories and you're here on a work visa, I think that you should definitely be given the opportunity to be here. But, you know, like I understand like in some cases, that's not the case for everybody. So, you know, I understand the other side too. I understand both sides. I think it's a deep conversation a lot of people don't like to have because they feel like they'll be judged for their opinion. But I think everybody always sways to one side or the other. They never have like a middle ground opinion on the conversation. They're always very, you know, very right or very left.
My thing is like, who the fuck is gonna make all the good shit that us Americans love to consume and eat?
I mean, what do we mean by that? I guess when it comes to like field picking,
no, I'm talking.
I can tell you this.
No, I think it's fucked up. Like I've heard and seen my mom, like fucking great citizen, didn't go to college, you know, worked her ass off, worked for the bank for fucking over 20 years, and pays taxes and deals with fucking shit like. Unless she has a high paying job, having to pay insurance for fucking health and all this shit. And like, it's fucked up because what happens? The people that aren't supposed to be here take advantage, the people paying taxes. I get the whole fucking argument.
We deal with the same stuff in Canada. Like this, we're dealing with the exact
Yours
same
is worse.
I gotta get out of here, Will.
Is it easy to be illegal over there?
No, it's just that they're like, come on over. And like,
yo, I remember during COVID, like everybody was online talking about what checks they were getting. And I couldn't be. I was so excited to live in LA at the time. And bro, as an independent, what? That was man. Anyway, so my point is, I remember Canadians were getting what, like $3,000, and I remember for like a good like 4 months, Canada was like the best place ever. Like Americans were like, oh man,
but it's caused such a big problem.
It caused a big deal. Yeah,
no one's working. It's like we all got to go back on the farm or something. Like I don't know what's gonna. People just.
I mean, same here. It's like a thing. Like,
yeah, it's big in America. Like a lot of people think that people are working here. No, they're not.
Bro,
nobody's working.
Also, remote jobs, like the amount of remote jobs offering multiple six figures is insane.
But are they real?
No, I
I'm not
think
gonna lie.
a
Most
lot.
of them are in tech. Most of them are in tech. I'm talking about ones in tech for sure.
But
And I always say that's the best industry to work in.
But here's the thing, Prophets. Like I work kind of on that side, and I can tell you, like
marketing, engineering, like
yeah,
UI,
it was
like all that. Yeah,
it was a remote type work for a while, but a lot of these jobs are shifting back. They really are. They're really pushing to shift back to office. And there are a lot of people out there who are not willing to come back to office. But I think like if you don't want to come back to office, the reality is you just need to start your own business. That's just what it is. You can't work for an employer and just say, no, I'm not going to come back to the office.
Well, I also think low key, this is the way for you to quit without them having to pay anything too. Like they're doing that with us too. Yeah. They're weeding us out.
It's a mix because if you quit, they don't have to pay you nothing, right?
Exactly.
And if you stay, then you have to abide to what they want, and they know you don't want that.
Exactly.
And so it comes down to, you either can be upset and be mad and driving to work every day, or you can quit and not get nothing from them, and it's a win-win for them. It's a win-win for them.
Yeah, right now it's like employees don't have the leverage, whereas we did during COVID. You know what I mean? And now it's like, oh, it's the employer has everything. I mean, they were giving. We had public transit, like it was completely free at some point during COVID. I remember all of these things, and it's like everything went back, but everything got also very expensive. So, there's also that aspect too. Everything's crazy expensive right now.
I think if you
my eggs dropped.
Her eggs.
I think if you have a good amount of work experience though, like this is the one thing that a lot of people get wrong that I've noticed a lot, because I have a decent amount of work experience doing what I do. I think if you have a certain amount of work experience, like you can still negotiate salary, you can still kind of work where you want to work, you can still negotiate to a degree. It's not going to be 100%. Some work from home, but not as much as you would probably want. But you still have that leverage, but that's just due to experience. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't have the experience, so I don't want to do it. It's like, well, then you're never going to get the experience. And if you never get the experience, you're never going to get that opportunity. You're just always going to be shuffling around looking for that one job that's going to give you everything you want. And you don't have anything to offer them at the same time, aka experience to a degree. I mean, I get you have stuff to offer, but you get what I'm saying. Like, to them, to the job.
There was a time where I was convinced that what they would start doing is giving you some sort of bonus for coming into work. And those who don't want to come in, you actually get a pay cut. But that's not even the case. Like, forget the pay cut.
They won't even give you a cut. They'll just like your job's go.
They're like, we're done. So there was a point where that's what I thought would happen. But that's not happening.
Yeah.
And also lots of people losing their jobs too. I don't know if you heard this too, but even in crypto, I have some friends at Polygon just lost their work. They just got cut.
Well, I think crypto is struggling more than a lot of people understand, especially fundamentals. Like the fundamental projects, I think they are hurting bad right now. The whole meme coin market has absolutely destroyed the fundamental market to a degree. And as far as money flow,
product side, right?
Yeah, big time. You got to people.
For every dad thinks they need to incorporate some sort of like gambling mechanism.
No. The gambling mechanisms are a means to an end for a lot of these platforms. They just haven't realized it yet, right?
Yes.
They're trying to capitalize on something that's going to ultimately be the end of them. Because when the market actually gets out of this whole rut that I have to gamble to win, and it will happen. A lot of people just don't get it yet. Like this the whole meme coin super cycle discussion, right? A lot of people say these things, but the reality is this thing will come to an end, and it'll come to an end once the people pushing the liquidity realize there's no liquidity left to soak up. And once that happens, they're going to pull that money, and it's not going to come back into the market. It's just like when we got the COVID checks. Like, I don't know, I shouldn't say that word, but just like when we got the checks for the thing. I don't know if it's still a problem to say it or not anymore, but when we got the checks for the thing, where did all that money go? It went to the top 1%.
Yeah.
They literally soaked it all up. As soon as we got the money, they put their sponges out. and they soaked up all the money and then put their sponge back in the drawer. That's what they did. And a lot of people don't even realize that. Like, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Trillions taken off the table. It's crazy. And that's the same thing that's happening with this meme coin market. It's a means to an end. They're putting their sponges out. They're going to soak up all the liquidity. And once they soak up all that liquidity, they're going to put their sponge back in the drawer. And everybody's going to be sitting there like with their hands out like, may I have some more? And they're going to be looking for food. And there ain't no food coming.
Is meme coin the same as these tokens that these projects are launching? Like Anime, Pengu, Dude. Like, is that the same? Because I kind of look at it as like this is their last straw too. Not saying about these specific projects, but I mean everyone now resorting to that.
I would argue and say before Will answers, Anime, Apecoin, Pingu. I don't know about Dude like that. I don't know the culture. I don't know. I see there's
I'm just naming yeah.
But I would say that those three at least seems to have complete bulletproof war chest at the moment. And continue to prove that they do. Like, I think that is going to end up being a no-brainer for those people that can participate in that ecosystem. Not like, you know, I'm not necessarily DCAing, you know, into, I personally like seen Apecoin at its highs and I've seen it at its lows, and it's not expensive, and they keep continuously like making you utilize it within the ecosystem. So like I can see that and why that goes up, right? I can see why people are buying Pingu. I can see why people are buying Anime. But before you go, Will, I think those three did it right, and I feel like everything that happens after, it's just like it really has to make sense. Like all these things happened in different ways for different reasons for these specific for those three specific projects. Apecoin being the first fucking guinea pig saying, fuck it, we're going to airdrop our holders. And then that became the new, oh, fuck, we got to airdrop our holders to create this like value aspect, right? I digress.
Here's the thing. I think those airdrops have they've gone out and people have done what they wanted to do with them, right? And some people are holding in potential that these coins turn into something. And when I say something, I mean like they create some kind of value or fundamental to these coins. And I think they will do that. I think a lot of these projects will find that fundamental thesis. I think I want to say the quiet part out loud, but I know it's going to upset people. I think DAOs are stupid, right? I think they're dumb. I think voting rights are just it's a facade, right? Or fugazi. It's all bullshit. Because the biggest people, you know, with the most supply are the ones that are controlling the vote. It's not an equal representation of everybody has a voice, and that's just how I feel about that's how I feel about DAOs. That's why I don't buy DAO coins. I don't buy any DAO coins because I feel like they're all controlled centrally by a certain group of people, aka majority supply, and whatever they want to happen in a DAO, they'll vote on and they'll make happen, and they'll make it appear to the public specifically. No, all DAO coins, all DAO coins.
Oh, for sure.
So I don't think it's Apecoin specifically. I think all DAO coins
their whole structure and making it completely on chain, similar to Nouns DAO, where you have to hit certain milestones, and on chain. Once that hits, then it's like completely is like a community vote based off of like how many you have to make vote, which I think is awesome.
I think
that's how DAO should be operating, right? On chain, like using like actual on chain.
Yeah, you should be able to see the votes. But the point that I wanted to get
you see the votes, but I'm saying where things automatically unlock based off of them hitting tiers on chain, not like waiting for a human or something.
I guess things are always better in their simplest form. And I think the most simplest form for any DAO is that every wallet should get a vote, and every wallet should be identified as a person and not identified as somebody holding 100 wallets or identified as somebody holding 1,000 wallets. And the only way to do that is centralization. And people don't want centralization, and decentralization for a lot of these projects is a mask to be able to do shady shit.
Some people delegate to groups like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you can always pay somebody to vote. I mean, shit, you see it in the freaking voting system here in the U.S., right? You could be like,
Lobbying. We got a lobby, baby.
yeah, lobbying, exactly. You can lobby people for sure. Like lobbying is perfectly legal. It's perfectly allowed. That's still a form of fair voting, in my opinion. I think lobbying to a degree is.
You're working for it.
Yeah, you're working for it. You're making money for your vote. You're getting paid for it. You voted because you got paid. And I think lobbying to a degree is still part of a fair system. Obviously big pharma and stuff like that, being the biggest lobbyists, and when it comes to congressional, votes and stuff like that. But, and to a degree, how are you going to weed those people out? You can't. And they pay for a lot of the things that happen in the system. A lot of people get mad about lobbyists to a degree, but it's like the lobbyists put up the most money. So they're not only controlling the money flow, they're also putting up the most money. So as long as that infinite loop never ends, it's just what it is. You can't control it. I don't think all lobbying's right, but like I think like to a degree you can still have a fair system and have lobbying involved. I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of DAOs. I think use case wise, you're throwing a bunch of money around and you're voting on shit. But what's the point? I can invest that money and make money from it. Why would I care to vote? This is just my opinion.
Shit. Yo, this was pretty cool. Everybody appreciates the charts, Will. Melina, I don't know how you feel about this, but how much longer are you giving crypto Twitter?
Oh, I mean, look, I'll be very honest, okay? I did one mistake in 2021, which was I was everywhere and not on Twitter. That was my biggest mistake because I could have had probably 100,000 followers on Twitter by now. So I'm not saying to do that now, but there is something to be said about, and Prophets, I mean, this, when we go to events, we're not meeting the people on from the Instagram, we're actually meeting people from Twitter. So there is something to be said about the people on Twitter, whatever the ruggers and all that. That's a whole other topic. But I definitely am doing way more business on Twitter when it comes to crypto than on any other platform. That's what
I was sharing with Will, and I can't wait. I'm so happy that it's you and me against him now.
How do I raise my hand here?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, wait.
He's straight up saying, and I agree with this. And if I'm being honest, like I feel like 2021 when this all came about, I remember being like, this world was made for me because I'm a big crypto advocate. I already talk about it all the time. I'm already talking about financial literacy all the time, right? You guys know my background. And I'm like, oh, now there's cool products and projects that I can combine the two, right? And share and talk about and be a part of or help or whatever it is, whether consumer and holder or working with them or the project. And then, but Will's argument yesterday was, rack up the streaming revenue, which I'm not opposed to. But like, yo, this is not a fucking game. Look, I see kids like I don't know if these people are what you call, you can't compare, but like Aiden Ross and Kai Cenat. Like, I like Kai. I think his personality is perfect. I see why he's where he is. But that seemed like that took forever. So I'm like, if and I know that's like high revenue, and I'm sure there's like people in between, but like, man, it's just
people don't get paid that much though on these apps.
I don't know, man. Will sounds like he knows it all. I'm doing my research. I'm doing my research. You feel me? I'm figuring it out. I'm hanging out with the streamers in Miami. I'm like, what's going on, bro?
But hear me out. Here's
I
what I was.
And then I'll talk. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Just evaluate what I say, and you can tell me if I'm dumb.
Exactly.
All right.
You want to say you're dumb, Will?
The point that I was trying to make to her, right, is you don't want to solely rely on revenue from projects, right? You need some kind of consistent streaming inflow, even if it's not a lot, right? because a consistent streaming inflow can keep you going if you don't get a gig in a month or two, right? If you don't get something going. And so I told her, I was like, look,
and by the way, hold on, let me add this in because I think it's important. My bad. Melina, I know there's times and months where you're creating and you're here and you're participating because you just love the vibe and you're not getting paid. Same with myself. We've been here for years and that's been plenty of times. So I want to make that, evident too, because, go ahead, Will, continue.
Yeah. And so what you need is you need to keep that revenue going. And the best way to do that, and I've heard it from some of the best out there, man, some of the best top streamers, and they all say multi-stream. They're like, just multi-stream. They're like, you'll get tons of streaming revenue from Twitch, from Kick, from YouTube. Yeah, it's not a lot individually, but the revenue combined can be a decent amount, right? Even if you're, let's say you're streaming on all 5 platforms. You're doing 3 days a week on lives, which is what we're doing, and then you're doing 1 or 2 days of spaces, right? At that point, you've at least got 3 days a week on all these lives that you're getting revenue. And if one of your videos really pops off one month and you never got a gig that month, then at that point you made a decent amount of money off of that, right? And to what you were saying too, that's the other trick that we're gonna work through is the titling, right? The titling is very important. And then if you can catch that right viral title, I mean, look at the dude who did the whole little wash his face in some fucking sparkling water and run with a car and pretend that he's running.
That wasn't from a title.
That
was from content. That wasn't from a title. But I get what you're saying.
But he created not a live, but he created video content.
For sure. Yeah.
People perceive video content better than they perceive voice content. People don't give a shit what you look like. A lot of people don't realize that. You could be the ugliest person in the world, you could be the best looking person in the world. But if you're giving them the content they're looking for, in a trustworthy way, and when you show your face, it's more genuine to people too. That's what a lot of people don't understand either. Like you get a better connection with people when you show your face than what you do if you're just sitting there talking behind a JPEG PFP.
I couldn't agree more with that. Couldn't agree more. I'll say this as well. Let me say this.
Yeah, and I'll speak.
The reason I like adding on abstract is because I feel like I can go create there or go consume content there. That's, don't get me wrong, some of it's like, what the fuck is this? But for the most part, it's a crypto app, right? And so even deeper, we got people here that will listen to what we're saying, engage with our content because they can relate to it because they're in the niche. And then on top of that, when it comes to, I guess that's why we don't only create on TikTok, only create on Instagram. But to be real, if I remember all right, cool, I got the hang of this shit. And I'm starting to kind of get any Web3-ish on Instagram. And I'm like, this is not getting no fucking engagement.
No, I won't.
And then, but then I do it here and it does. But there's there's a give and take to this. So now that and I put Melina in the same category, we've kind of built this relevance and ability to get engagement here that, to go to Will's point, we should be, it's almost like starting over and it sucks. That's how I feel. And I'm getting in my Gary Vee bag, but it's just we need to be producing that 3 to 6 pieces of content other places to make it relevant and then we're going to be known like the fucking e-com dudes and all the people that made it shit relevant, even though there's a lot of scammy, but they're scammy and everything. So it's we're going to pioneer that in a way. There's 1 or 2, but let's be real. All the crypto content on the Web2 apps are gambling related or meme coin or some shitty ass information that's completely misleading information, or buy my WAP for $100, get access to this
XRP.
Yeah, or whatever it is, get shit like that. But yeah, Melina, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is what I would say. This is obviously from my 5 years of being in this space, and like I said, my biggest, I would say, mistake, but I mean it's all good. But it was that I was on Twitter, but basically I kept doing content for TikTok and Instagram, right? And then what didn't work was, like I was telling you guys before, a lot of people on TikTok and they don't know what abstract is. They don't know what a Pengu is.
Sure.
You know what? My friends, they'll send me the Pengu memes they don't give a shit that it's an NFT. They don't care that you go to their Pengu. Like, I'm telling you the honest truth. This is what it is.
Which is cool. By the way, that's still a W for
That's
big
good.
for the pudgies because it's getting out there. But I agree.
Yeah,
It's not
but,
onward.
like,
it's not onward.
But if like you're not, you know, like if you're gonna go on a TikTok and be like, oh, Frank stepped down to. Actually, I wanted Will's take on that, but whatever. Frank stepped down. What do we think and whatever, right? Like people on TikTok are gonna be like, Frank who? Like who's Frank? Like they won't know. So like. What I noticed afterwards, like when I decided, you know what, like, and obviously, like what I will say is that I also at one point felt like I was convincing people, like buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum. I was like Da Vinci, what's his name? Buy the Bitcoin on Instagram, and people were like, shut up, like you know what I mean? Or like, what about
like
XRP?
leave us alone?
What about XRP? My TikTok was bombarded by that army. Forget Bitcoin. I'm on XRP, right? So I would say the content is 100% the opposite of what we're doing on Twitter. It's not the same at all. It's like, here are the top 3 coins to buy this week, or like that. And I mean, Profits, all you got to do is type in crypto on TikTok and you'll see the top performing videos. I don't even know these people. They're probably making a ton of money, but I have no idea who these people are.
But that's the point. So here's the kicker, right? If you're making individual videos, you should probably tailor them toward the platform.
Of course.
Right. And then if you're making lives, just try to be general as possible. So that way everybody on every platform understands what you're talking about and where you're going with the conversation. I think too many people try to be specific, or they try to lean more towards their Twitter audience or towards the audience that knows more than they do towards the people that don't know more, because you interest people more if you explain to them like they're 5 what crypto is, how it works, so on and so forth. And I bet the best creators on TikTok, Instagram for crypto specifically are on there just giving basics, like very, very like low grade basics.
Yeah,
crypto,
that's what it is.
Right. And it's not really like, hey man, go over here, flip over to Solana, then take the swap over here and then swap over here to.
They don't even
XRP
know what base is. Yeah, they don't even know what base is. Like I'm being very honest. Like this is what it is. Yeah. And like the best advice I could give anyone when you're creating first of all, you have to want to do it. Like, do you want to go on TikTok and be like, here's how to set up a wallet? I mean, I've done those videos. They performed really well, but I don't want to do that now. And so I have figured out a way where I feel comfortable in where I am personally. But if you want to break out, you're going to have to go back to
do that. Melina's dream job is to direct lit people. That's what she wants to do. Melina has retired from this. She's good at it. She's amazing at it. But I feel like I personally, like, I don't want to make tutorials either, but I'm definitely going to make tutorials. And it's like,
you really have to go back. You remember Gary Vee? Like guys, like I still remember my husband was telling me about Bitcoin. I was like, and Gary Vee was like, here's how to buy Ethereum, friends.
It's just
here's how to buy Ethereum. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing
killed it.
The other thing that also works, but I'm not there yet because I haven't made the 7 figures. But when people are like, I made 7 figures buying this shitcoin, people love that stuff. I mean, Will knows what I'm talking about. You see it all the time, right? Like,
bro, that's when I posted my 7 figs, people were like, what the fuck?
Exactly. But that's what garners attention. I'm telling you, that's what it is.
That's all people, but people, that's what people want to see. They want to see that leased Lamborghini. Right?
They do.
They want to see that leased Rolex from the local pawn shop. They want to see those chains that you probably stole from somebody's house that are probably fake. Like they want to see all that stuff.
By the way, if you do, they don't give you the item.
You said what?
I mean,
you can't lease from the pawn shop.
No, you can't take the item out the shop. You can only
I heard you can from the ones in New York. Just saying.
No, that's crazy.
Whatever. I'm just saying.
If you're a rapper, yeah, all the rappers.
The content is not going to be the same, and then it really depends how much time you have. Because then the other thing that I noticed over those years was, listen, I want to help the normies, but you know what? I want to be in the space too. How am I going to do? Like, it was very hard because if you notice the top crypto guys on YouTube, they just stick to the fundamentals, Bitcoin, ETH, right? Like
because those people are running businesses, which means that's the whole point of this whole convo. And
Yes.
that's why I'm leaning into launching a product, properly going about it, and literally spending majority of time. And when it comes to posting content, creating content is, I always make specific creative content for
Yes.
certain things, right? BZ, whatever. But actually driving to this product and saying, hey, this is for sale, buy it if you want, because it's a proven system over and over. We've seen it for 10 plus years. Yes, we've seen most people that are shitty and they're like selling some shit that you can get on the first page of Google. But hey, it's a common, it's first of all, it's a strategy that's already worked over and over, and there's no reason of like repeating that. Granted, there's ways to be better. I was watching something by somebody was, I have a great algorithm on YouTube. Like, I don't know, AMA, bro. I have the best. I don't watch bullshit. I only watch certain things, and it pops up like the best shit only. Anyway, this person that managed Gary V's content on TikTok, so helped him go from, I think it was like 1 mil to like 50 mil or whatever it was. And then Alex Hormozy, he used to work for the Hormozys. Those are the two fucking best people I think you can ever work for ever when it comes to this like marketing shit. And he said, he literally said, if you double down on pretty much creating content, all different kinds of content, and just putting it out there, like, for example, when Will goes to eat with me and you, Melina, he's a certain Will. When Will is on his Harley with his homeboys, he's a different Will. When he's at when he's at his daughter's play, he's a different Will. He's taking a nice girl out to eat, he's a different Will. The point is, people want all versions. And so what I'm getting at is, like, the point of content these days, it not to say you should make bullshit content, but it's about putting out something that's going to attract more viewers, and then eventually those viewers are going to buy from you. Like, that code, I was telling this to Will, like, I was really big on fucking FB, and when Live came out, and I would just like go like that for like 20 minutes, and it was cool. I didn't have to edit a video and all that. I was just, boom, I just stayed right there, and I would just talk about a topic, and then oh, hey, what do you do? Oh, cool. Oh, I want to buy. Boom, now they're like a customer. And so, if I'm being honest, in this last few years, because of how the space has moved, I've definitely been like very reluctant of selling anything to this specific niche. Like, I almost don't even want to make an available link on Twitter ever. Like, that's why I keep putting out the Discord and the Telegram. If you get in, you get in. If you don't, you don't. But like, there's no upside, because these people are just different mindset, right? But the point of all this rant is, we're already creating, we're already comfortable here. Why not like pivot that, package that shit up, and sell something amazing? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know you have different goals. I'm saying specifically for me.
No, but that makes sense. That makes sense. It's just that what I've noticed is, like, to everyone's point tonight, right? It's like, oh, how come our YouTube video is not breaking out compared to these people? It's either titles, it's either because
that's like,
like these people have no idea. Maybe, you know what? If we talk about Shiba Inu and Bonk, that's probably what's going to work. Like, it's like, it's going back to those basics that for us, we're looking at fart coin, we're looking at different coins, and the Web2 people have no clue. And also, like, the feedback I get a lot. So obviously my Instagram I tailored it more towards women buying crypto and how to be financially free. And at one point, Will, I was even getting blocked. I had to just talk about Bitcoin. There's also that, because, then they'll
Blocked
say,
by who?
Like the apps, right? They'll take down your video. It's happened to me many times. I used to do how-to videos with Ledger, how to set up your Ledger thing, and like I would get blocked on TikTok and Instagram. This is a thing, Meta. We love Zuckerberg.
Well, they just took out, you saw that they took out the whole 30% thing in the Apple Store, and now Apple and Meta is accepting to talk about. I have a feeling there's going to be an influx in crypto apps in the Web2 store that we're never going to know who the fuck these people are, and they're not even going to be on Web3. And they're going to do circles around these shitty people here. That's a whole other take.
Oh yeah, but I've said this all the time. I've said this to everyone in crypto. I'm like, get ready, because you guys all want retail to come. They're going to take all your jobs. None of you have real skill here.
But
they're laughing at our own joke.
But it's
But
true.
here's the thing, though.
When will Shiba hit $1? Okay, that's my husband. I was like, see someone.
Here's the thing that I would say to it. This is what I told prophets too. I said this is why you have to stay primarily towards lives, because if you're doing custom videos, it's easy to get blocked. It's easy to get censored. It's easy to have all that stuff. But if you stay more towards lives, there's a lot less monitoring. There's a lot less.
You stay relevant. I agree.
There's a lot less stuff, and and it's more natural. Like people like to see the natural you. They don't like to see the edited you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's what a lot of people don't really understand. And what I've noticed in this space is a lot of people take the business approach wrong. I'm gonna give people. I'm gonna streamline right now for the few people that we have watching the proper business way to do things. It's to give, then sell, right? Then give, then sell, then give, then sell. And that's the proper way. A lot of people in crypto, they come in, they rob, then give, then rob, then give.
And I might add,
rob, then give.
So the better the robbing means they have a little bit of money to use to do the robbing. You might catch that on the way home.
It's true.
Yes. And that's really how crypto is going a lot of the time, right? You have a bunch of people robbing people and then giving something back, and then people praise them for the parts they give, but forgive the parts where they rob them, right? It's like somebody coming up to you on the street corner, pulling out a gun and saying, give me your wallet. And then you're all of a sudden like, okay, here's my wallet. And then they come back the next day like, hey, let me buy you lunch.
Like a DGOT holder.
Like, what the like, I don't want you to buy me lunch, bro. But some people will be like, yeah, buy me lunch. Thank you. They won't ask for their wallet back, but they'll ask for the lunch. And that's really what this space is. A lot of it is about. A lot of it is about literally robbing people for everything they got and then coming back and offering them lunch. I take that personally as an insult. I'll never come back for lunch for somebody who tried to rob me.
Melina had a question for you, Will. Go ahead, Melina.
No. Did I?
Yeah, you did.
She said no.
About DGOTs.
Look at her.
Oh yeah, my question. Well, I mean, we didn't talk about this yesterday, but I did, I've really appreciated Frank over the years. I used to poke fun at him and he always took it really well, and I used to do my funny recap videos, and I used to wear a black hoodie. Oh my God, we changed chain. And
I remember that actually.
I used to love that.
I used to have a lot of fun doing the Frank D Gods look.
That's funny. That's how I started to find you, to be honest. I remember that.
We had a good time, me and Frank. I met him in New York. That's why I posted that video yesterday. I was like, I got to go find my archives. Oh my God, it's so good to go back in time, especially in this space. Feels like decades. But to see him step down at this point was a little weird for me. But Will, you've been a hodler for a long time. How did you feel, or does this even matter that he's stepping down?
Doesn't matter.
That's what I thought.
To me, like,
because of now, right? I think it's because it's so late in the game. It doesn't matter.
Well, no. Like, here's the thing. Like, I think like it goes to zero. It doesn't go to zero. I think everything is a calculated.
News is always bullish, regardless of what it is. So I thought that they moved on the news alone. It moved 20%. It's always bullish when there's news, no matter the news.
Yeah, it went up from the initial news. I don't know where it's at right now because I haven't looked. I mean, honestly, I don't even track price. Like, I think a lot of people do, but I don't.
Man says already counted this as a loss. That's the trick, ladies and gentlemen.
That no. That's not even a joke. Like, anytime I buy an NFT, I'm literally just writing it off.
I'm the same way. It's because I like it. It's literally because I like it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the same way.
Like, I'm writing it off as zero.
I'm flipping it, but I'm not telling you about those.
Yeah, like here's the thing though too. I'll always buy a couple. So if it does run, I'm not gonna be stupid. I'm gonna sell that shit. But like, if it doesn't run, it's a write-off for me. Like, the thing is too, is like, and here's the thing too, profits that you should be doing is if you own a business and you buy a bunch of NFTs and they all go to zero, it's part of the business model, right? Yeah. So at that point, that's a tax write-off. That's what that is.
Oh, I sent my tax account is.
I'm just throwing out there.
All of them.
All the L's go right in there.
Will, do you buy any ordinals? Are you bullish on this art on Bitcoin or?
I'm gonna buy in the bear. I'm gonna buy in the bear.
We're not in the bear
So,
yet.
we're not
Low
in the bear yet.
key, we haven't had a real bear since ordinals came out, right?
I mean, it was pretty low, but it was still high for me to buy. Yeah.
Will fucking ordinals went. I mean, Bitcoin went.
The puppets were pretty low at some point.
No, but
They're going to
price.
be a lot
Bitcoin
lower in the
price.
bear.
Exactly. Bitcoin price was like 64K at the lowest, I think, since ordinals have been out.
Yeah, you're right. I understand what
the
you mean.
last
You're looking
2
at the
years.
Bitcoin price.
Yeah.
They calculate in Bitcoin, right? They're like, oh, we're at 0.2.
So, but hear me out. This vibe I get that I remember getting this, and I'm sure maybe Will did a little bit too. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm more of an idiot than Will is. When ETH NFTs were a thing, I remember saying, damn, I can't wrap my head around spending this ETH on this photo, right? Before the ape, and then the first one I buy is fucking 5K. Why? Because I FOMO into the opportunity to flip it straight up. Not because I thought it was valuable. I thought it was going to be flippable.
Yes.
Completely goes to zero. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy. But then I go deeper and I'm like, I got to buy the right ones. No problem. That was a $5,000 lesson. And then I was like buying my ape and I'm like, cool, this is a store of value for ETH. That's what I saw it as. And so Bitcoin, I feel like that narrative is actually going to live for real, opposed to ETH, unfortunately. Because if you look at CryptoPunks, that's arguably the best asset. I don't know, I guess if you bought it early still, obviously that you're good. But even if you bought it in the last 2 years, you're down USD. Maybe up ETH, but you're down USD. So I don't know if ETH holds that same. And again, most people would say don't use Bitcoin as a store of value. Like I also agree with that. Like I never used Bitcoin, like old Bitcoin or Bitcoin I've been stacking to buy ordinals. It was always new money to buy ordinals, right?
Yeah.
So,
oh, he's back. Yeah. That's how I have taken that approach on ordinals, even though like I'm very big in the eco and whatnot. But my whole thing actually was always, no, I rather stack the coin.
Yeah. I also say this. I think people like, I think that, and I don't know, maybe Will chimes in, but I think the ETH boom originally came because a lot of people like myself that bought ETH early were cool with just blowing the ETH on NFTs, possible gain. And then also that's why, kind of ETH had that splurge or whatever when it did. But then Bitcoin, I feel like there's a lot of lucky motherfuckers that got into this Bitcoin for the first time through ordinals and or just came up a lot through ordinals. And now they're like kind of coasting. Like, look at how it is. Look how the ordinals markets react when Bitcoin's like unstable or like when it starts to the weird sell-off, because I feel like people don't know how to really truly understand Bitcoin. So yeah, when the bear market comes, I think the ordinals are just going to be that much better of a buy because we're going to paper hand,
Yes.
That's, you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying, I was just saying before because you got disconnected. Like that doesn't mean stack ordinals and now Bitcoin. I haven't used any of my Bitcoin bag to buy ordinals. I was just saying I used new money, right, to buy ordinals. But yeah, Will, go ahead.
No, I wasn't even gonna say that. Like I was here, I was able to hear you. I don't know what happened. Like my thing got jacked up, but I still heard you, both of you. I was trying to fix it. Okay. But yeah, the ordinals thing for me is I think the floor will go a lot lower than what people expect. And I think Bitcoin's price will go a lot lower than what people expect in the bear market. And I think a lot of people will sell. Here's the way I look at this, and this is just my own thesis. It's a thesis. It's not set in factual. It's not set in factual. It's not set in fact. It's not set in stone. But my thesis is that this is 2017, and the next cycle will be 2021.
Wow,
right?
Really?
And not enough people are prepared, right? A lot of people are trying to make it all big now, and they're going to lose everything.
But where are these people coming from that are going to buy this shit?
They're coming.
Do you see the people right now coming?
No.
Do you see the No. I'm not talking about the people. I'm talking about the litigation.
Yes.
I'm talking about everything around crypto. Facebook, everything around crypto is being built and put in place.
Right now.
This is the building phase for what will come liquidity wise in the next phase. These companies think 3-4 years out. They don't think I need this money right now.
Got you.
Right. So they're not even like Facebook's not anticipating making money right now. They're anticipating.
That's why they were able to scrap and spend and just waste that money on the whole metaverse shit. They were like, nah, fuck it, we're not focusing on that right now. And then
exactly. And so right now, what you're seeing is the beginnings of the integration, right? And everybody thinks, oh, this money flow is going to come right now. No, it's not. All the money flow is going to come next cycle.
I think so too. I noticed it just with friends, right? Like when someone calls me and says, hey, I'm hearing about this Ethereum thing. I'm like, yo, they called me last week. I said, Ethereum, how dare you talk about my ETH? I agree with you, Will. I think we still have 4 years. And look, we were just in Dubai, right? I was there. I went to figure out if like business wise, it would make sense for a Canadian to go there and whatnot. And just think about, people, like you said, the business is also thinking energy wise, pegging it to Bitcoin, but we're talking 2028. We're not talking tomorrow.
Yes.
So it's 4 or 5 years from now.
Exactly.
Stuff coming in 4 or 5 years.
That's and I'll tell you, Melina, that's been my thought process since this cycle has began, is that this cycle is going to be very meh. And a lot of people were not thinking that, right? Like, and people will argue. They'll be like, oh, well, meme coins made millions of dollars. You could say whatever you want. Very few people made millions of dollars in meme coins. The point being is, like, people don't realize how small the bubble is in crypto Twitter. It's very small. We're all PvPing each other for a couple million here and there.
PvP.
It's like the point being, though, is that the money flow hasn't really come in yet. All you're seeing is cabal moves at the moment. Once the money flow really moves in and you start to see the shift to utility, again, I think next cycle, right now, we're just setting up the roads and bridges and the city is being built. And once the city is built, the people will come. And the people aren't coming this cycle. They're coming next cycle. But nobody's willing to admit that openly. Everybody wants to believe that if we just keep holding on, they'll come this cycle. No, this cycle is for extraction. That's all this cycle is. It's just straight extraction. And the next cycle will be for building. For right now, okay, so these things come in waves. I'll put it this way, Melina. Check this out. 2017, what did all the businesses do? F Bitcoin, we hate Bitcoin, yada, yada, right? Yeah. Who was in crypto? The people. The people were in crypto.
True.
2021, who did we rob? We robbed Nike. We robbed Adidas. We robbed Google. We robbed Facebook. We robbed everybody. Right. And I'm saying robbed because that's literally what happened. These people come in and got robbed in a heist, coming in trying to be on the hype cycle. Right. And they literally lost a ton of money coming into crypto. And then now we're over here in 2024, 2025, pretending as if we're going to rob them a second time 4 years later.
Exactly.
And here's the thing.
They're already gone. They're gone, or they're building.
Well, they're gone, but they're building safety nets to keep themselves from getting robbed a second time.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
what they're doing this cycle. This cycle, they're building safety nets to keep them from being robbed a second time. And then next cycle, we find new ways to rob them. That's how it works. Right now, they think they're smarter than the average incel. It's like, you're smarter than the average incel this cycle, but next cycle, you're going to be robbed by the incel again. You just haven't figured that part out yet. It's going to happen again. These businesses are building now, thinking that they're providing safety for themselves. And then next cycle, they're going to do it again. They're going to create that liquidity flow. They're going to get businesses to come back in, and these businesses are going to get robbed again. They just haven't figured that part out yet.
Yeah.
That's just my perspective, right? And I hate to be so blunt in life, because it sounds so pessimistic. It's like, dude, all you talk about is businesses that are going to come in and get fleeced. And people that are going to, I mean, if you know these things, then take advantage of the money flow. Like that's how you make money. You make money by work for these people, make money off of them. Not only make money off of them, trade, make money off of that. And then, when they end up getting robbed and leave again, who cares? It is what it is. Businesses come and they go. That's how these things work. But for me, I I'm just dead set on this cycle, just kind of getting what I can get out of it, being happy with that, and holding on to that for next cycle, because I think you'll get a lot more next cycle than you will this cycle.
Yeah. It's interesting. That's kind of like what I've been thinking too. And then all this WAGMI stuff, right? To your point, I also know that a lot of people will leave this cycle because they're tired. I see it on the timeline. A lot of these people we're talking about, we will not see them in 2028.
Yep.
I can guarantee it. Yeah.
Yeah. The max extractors will come back, but they're even going to leave. They're going to exhaust their audiences from robbing them so hard right now that their audience is going to go away, and then they're not going to have an audience. Like they don't even realize that. They think they can keep the gambling thing up forever. It's like, you're not going to keep that up forever. It's going to eventually, the curtain's going to get revealed eventually. Somebody's going to see you're behind the curtain.
Is there any big Web?
And then you're cooked.
Is there any big Web2 streamers that gamble all day that are relevant?
Like pretend they gamble and rob their audience, or like gamble?
Both. I mean, I'm saying in a sense of like that's.
I have no clue.
That are relevant.
That do not relevant, but there are some people that do numbers. But I mean, eventually those people get robbed enough, they're not gonna have any money to put in anymore.
True, and then that's why people pivot, like the streamers themselves.
Yeah, they'll pivot to something new. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm building this new product," and then when they build that new product, that eventually will become a rug itself too. Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen it time. Look, I'm not even naming the names that we know. I know some names that we have never even spoke about that I think are going to go under. Right. I just the point being is that this space is what it is. That's why I don't even bother like trying to build a crypto project or code something, because it's so pointless. It's so pointless.
You know how many people begged me and asked me? Like it's crazy to say this, but they were like, "Are you going to launch an NFT collection?" I'm like,
"When, in 2021?"
Yeah, I was like, "No," but I was good at buying them and hodling, and they're all at zero. But I mean, like, I was not going to launch that. It was like, no, I don't want. Like, I just want to participate. I don't want to be a founder.
Founder,
you know, like with 3 O's, like. And you know what? I'm still happy that I said no and I trusted my gut. I was like, I don't want to do that. You know, I'm not an artist. I always felt like imposter syndrome. Like, I'm not an artist. How could I draw these NFTs? Even though AI now is helping a lot of people, but yeah, that never felt or sit right with me. You know.
The thing is with me is like, I don't know. I think it's interesting. A lot of people are willing to come in and rob for $1 million and ruin everything about their name and everything else.
Yeah.
And they don't realize you can make more than that in a lifetime easily. But if you come in and rob for $1 million, you're not going to be able to come in and do that more than a couple times.
Exactly.
Right. And unless you're doing it in such a way that the FBI is going to come after you, then you can.
Do you think that AIs are going to come in and start scamming us like humans do?
I think people are going to create AI.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. 100% I
do. Will there be another SBF? That's I always think about that. I'm like, is there
AI version?
You mean this cycle?
Maybe not this one, but
I was going to say this cycle, there's nothing to SBF. Everything's already, all the fundamental projects are dead.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's going to SBF at this point? Coinbase, Binance, like those.
I don't know. I mean, I still tell people, get your money off exchanges. Don't trust that stuff. I
feel like Binance definitely was the reason FTX happened the way it did. But
what does that mean? I was in Dubai. I was hearing all types of shit about that.
So
CZ.
From my understanding, CZ had a big chunk of FTX token.
Yeah.
And
he wanted to pull out, right? He
pulled out and he sold everything, and that started the cascade.
Yeah, they couldn't get that money. Yeah.
So
And
that was in public though. Did that start to go public, or that was like made?
it
public?
did. It went public.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: like, it's his right to sell it. Like, it doesn't mean that it's not his right to sell it. But the point being is that they were so over leveraged that they had no way to come back from that, right? Because they took all their assets off their. What I think everybody says that they never had any assets on the platform. I think they sold all their assets trying to support their FTX token, and then literally zeroed out all their assets, and then all they had left was their FTX token, which obviously doesn't have any value if they don't have anything on the platform. And so, that provided the collapse situation for the FTX token. Like, this is always the problem with exchange tokens, is like, how do you support price at the end of the day? And I think CZ has been the master at this. The dude's like the only person I know of in this entire space that has master classed his own, exchange token. Everybody else, very bad. There are other exchanges out there with, tokens and stuff like that, but like they're not as relevant, right? Like KuCoin, for instance, has the KuCoin token, but there's no liquidity in that token. Token's been dead the whole cycle, whereas like BNB still has relevance. That's the crazy part. So I don't know.
It is crazy. I don't know, Prophets. What are you playing this game or
I was about to air it, but I didn't want to cut us off real quick. I want to see how accurate she
Their
is.
shiny distraction. Remember the deal: a kill with the lightsaber, or I'm gone. Don't disappoint me.
Hold on, is Arya playing or
All
is
right,
she
we'll get a
watching?
kill. But so the thing is with the lightsabers, Arya, if you don't get it from one of the Jedi trainers on the map or one of like the Sith people, then you don't get like the special force powers. And I know you were talking about the choke powers.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, so like what I feel like it's gonna be, I said this earlier, crypto, this whole shit's like high school. This whole shit.
Yeah. The whole space is high school. They're like stuck in. They weren't popular, I guess, or something. They missed out. I don't know. They need to go hug their mom or dad, or I don't know.
Who?
The whole space.
Who?
Twitter?
They're just so childish.
Hold on. Twitter or what? Yeah, I agree. I think here's the thing. I'm not gonna shit on all Twitter. I think there's some intelligent people there. I think that there are a lot of people who use other people's content, which is absolutely unfortunate. A lot of people steal other people's charts, absolutely unfortunate. A lot of people who rob, give, rob, give.
Rob.
Very few people who give, sell, give, sell. So we'll see how this space ends, but ultimately, like, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's also a lot of people pretending they know what they're talking about. It is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You really got to put on your researcher hat and figure that shit out.
Nobody fact checks anybody in that space. It's just like literally just.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the God blah blah said this, so everybody must listen. If you try to dispute that, then you're an idiot. If you try to say that because 90% of the token is held by the dev, you're an idiot because he locked it all away.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Like, absolutely.
It's so
dumb.
Crazy. This is why I said before,
shit.
When people say we want retail to come in, I said, no, you don't, because this party is going to be over. Like, because, the way I see it is like, when we say retail, it's like if the Facebooks and the Metas come in here, all of these people are cooked. A lot of them, even in terms of, we're talking about content, right? There's so much garbage content. Go get all those TikTokers to come on Twitter. Half of these people are done. They're done.
You think of something. There's a few people watching, so maybe somebody takes notes. But if you think about it, there is some. I don't think there's any Web2 people that are in crypto that are high level that are also here on CT that is not a grifter or a scammer. I just can't name one. And if they were ever on both, they're not on both anymore. they're sticking to Web 2 business, that's fine, or they're only on in Web 3. Now, this is what my point is. If we were able to make that quality content that drove the traffic and engagement to the Web 2 audience, and now you're bringing that to potential clients in Web 3 that don't have a Web 2 presence, now that's like kind of completely, that's like selling the crack for 10,000% less, because now they're like, oh shit, I can get more than just Twitter Space and this, and there's obviously I'm not downing that at all. But like, yo, like the biggest media companies in our space are, nobody fucking talks about them or cares about them on TikTok or Instagram or none of that.
Exactly.
And so, but it, no shade, whatever. My point is, there's such a fucking wide open for that. There's so much room. Gears. Thank you guys. This is turning my gears.
So much room. No. It's like this is like a blank slate. I'm not even joking. Like there's so much more people could be doing in the space. And like I agree with Will. At the very beginning, I was like, this is like a radio show. Like I love a Twitter Space, but at the end of the day, it's missing the video component. It's really lagging behind every other app. I mean, all I've done all my life is work in video. Like I preach video for a living, you know? Mm-hmm. So I actually, in 21, I was like, this is not going to last. I can't even believe people are still selling spaces like the way Prophet's saying, like he's marketing, right? It's like, if you're not on video, I don't know what you're doing. Like I don't know. I really don't know.
You have to be relevant, to be honest with you. If you're not on video, like you can pretend that you're relevant and not be on video, but the reality is, and here's the funny part too, with a lot of these accounts, like I noticed with
making me want to not go to sleep, by the way, and just bang out like 50 videos.
Well, that's not the point. You don't want to burn out. Like really, you should keep the content closer to like an hour so you don't burn out.
Yeah.
And then that keeps the people coming. I'm just going to spit it to everybody so everybody here can know how to actually do this.
Lives for sure. I'm saying like video content as well. But yeah.
Yeah. But you should keep the lives closer to an hour. That keeps people coming back because they're like, oh man, that was only an hour. Like, all right, I'll wait till tomorrow for the next hour.
Yeah.
So they can hear the continued conversation.
You should always away, buddy. You're the one that wants to talk to me.
You should always cut people off somewhere in the conversation where it starts to get hot and tell them you'll be back tomorrow. That way they make sure they come back. Those type of things keep people reeling back. But the thing that I see that I really think is big, Girl in the Verse, by the way, I think this is massive, is like there aren't a lot of videos doing well cross-platform for crypto. So exactly. if you can penetrate that part of the market, like all these companies say, we're going to Web 2, we're going to Web 3, we're getting people from everywhere, but you don't see their content outside of crypto.
Exactly.
None of their content. So if you can penetrate outside of crypto, you hold more value than anybody in that space. And anybody in Twitter. If you can penetrate even 3 platforms, you have more value than anybody on Twitter. Even 300K accounts, you have more value than them.
It's funny because sometimes too, like, we're going to go to Vegas, the Bitcoin conference. I find, especially the people in Bitcoin, right? They've been around the longest, right? Some of these people you'll never see on Twitter, but they're on TikTok. Like, right to your point, it's like, there's some people in here that do really well, but have been buying crypto since 2012, or you know what I mean? But like, they don't even know about Twitter. They're not even aware that there's this crypto Twitter,
Yep.
It's very, very interesting. That's sort of my findings too. When I hit these events, like some people are like, oh, I'm not even on Twitter. You're like, oh, right. It's very interesting. I mean, just lately I heard Discord is the new Skype. So it made me laugh, right? Like, oh, is it dead already?
They're gonna go out of business.
No, I don't believe that.
But it's funny. I heard that.
I thought to myself, I can see why back then Discord was hard, but Discord is. There's Russ, the music artist, has a Discord that he consistently contacts and drops shit in regularly. Like if Discord is properly rolled out to your community and like put out in a way where you can make them engage, it's a win. And it's funny because I was thinking of this earlier. I'm like, you know, if I can show, because I've done this in the past, but like I built up, you know, my Discord and it has like over 1,000 people in it, active, maybe a few hundred, but it's like I think it's like if you can show that you can bring engagement to a specific Discord, you can build anything. I really believe that. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. An app needs to do what an app does, but like if you're driving people somewhere and incentivizing them to participate, you can build anything. You can literally make people come to do anything.
But here's you want to know what I think Discord is? I think it's an app version of MySpace. That's really what I think it is.
Facebook, not MySpace?
App version of MySpace.
Yeah. I got you.
So it's not the website anymore. It's an app. It's an application.
Yeah.
And it really, the layout is very similar too. Because remember, you could go on MySpace and you could build out your thing however you wanted it.
Yeah.
And you could put like music on there. You could put articles on there. You could put and a lot of people don't know about that stuff. I'm just saying, old, I get it.
Yeah,
but
we getting old. I feel so old in crypto. That's one thing. I'm like, damn, man, the high school stuff. I feel really, and I'm not that old, but I do feel old.
So when I think about Discord, I think of it as like a bunch of MySpace pages. That's really what I think. Which
you don't think it's valuable, or you do?
Well, I think it's hard to explain. I think a lot of people keep content there. But the fact that they gatekeep through monetary value, they didn't used to. Now it's $99 a year for Nitro to be able to put big files and everything. It makes it less enticing to a lot of people. When it was free, it was different. And I think that now that it's not free, it doesn't hold the same value.
I mean, people are talking to me about Telegram. They're loving the Telegram over Discord. So I don't know.
Yep. Well, Telegram.
Yeah, I agree. I'm saying if you can build a Telegram, same thing.
Telegram is good because it's like WhatsApp. It's decentralized, right?
I mean, look, we could use it in Dubai. We couldn't use WhatsApp in Dubai, you know, just saying.
Yeah. So knowing that, Telegram is used everywhere. You can communicate to anybody through Telegram. You can call them, you can text them, you can message them, everything to Telegram. Telegram, I think, is the replacement to WhatsApp. I will say that.
Oh, interesting.
I think that's Discord? A big one.
No.
Discord's just a different type of application.
What do you think Discord is good for? I want to hear this.
No, I told you it's a MySpace. It's a glory page that people have to pay mods to be in 24/7, and you have to pay to keep the upkeep of it. And I think that to a degree, it will lose its value over time. I think something else better will come out. I don't think you're wrong, girl in the verse. I don't think you're wrong at all that it has the potential to be the next Skype. I do.
I mean, someone told me this, I think in Dubai, and
years.
it made me laugh. It really made me, even to say Skype was hilarious, like the reference.
Yeah. Well, everybody knows Skype just went out of business, right?
Well,
and
that's it, yeah.
Would you think that Skype was going out of business before they announced it? No. But tell me a person who uses Skype. Exactly. I don't know anybody. And I think saying Discord to a degree is used by a lot of gamers. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
They are. It's the new Ventrilo for a lot of gamers.
Yeah.
But I think in time, as apps develop, you know, if you get something else along the lines that can fill that voice connect, that I think that's the only thing that really keeps Discord alive. I don't think it's branching out. I think that the simplicity of being able to voice connect with people through an app where you don't have their information, but you can just meet random people on the internet, talk to them through Discord. I think a lot of people like that factor.
It's funny. I was like, you know what? Speaking of these apps, I went to go check my Warpcast, my Farcaster here. I never go on this.
Yo, what the fuck is so good about Farcaster? Am I missing out?
I had it. There is alpha there. Like if you're looking to like get into some plays early, I feel like Farcaster, if you're a base person, you can get some good base plays before everybody else.
Really?
100%. Like but you have to dig and you have to find groups.
Yeah, it's like
you have to dig and you have to find groups. But you can I mean, keep in mind, what's that purple one with the hat? I got that one really early. I forget what it's called. Degen. I got Degen token like literally like day 3 because I was on Farcaster, and that shit ran. Like it ran stupid hard.
You just engage like Twitter?
Or you just sit in there with like you get a couple, my lady people in there, and then you just talk to the my lady people in a group.
Fuck those people.
And you interact with them, and they just find all the plays, and they just spit them out in the chat, and you just buy the plays that look at them a little bit. Usually, stuff. Here's the weird thing: like nothing on Farcaster that I've interacted with so far has been a rug.
Interesting.
Which is a weird thing to say.
Well, I'm gonna go spend some time.
It's all base stuff, right?
Yeah, it's all base stuff.
Late, Melina. I already know. Go ahead. Steve in the verse is looking for you.
Yeah, I know for sure he is.
But that's
we're gonna wrap up anyway.
But I just want to say real quick that means that says a lot, right? I'm not saying I interact with a lot of things on there, but so far nothing I've interacted with has been a rug on there, which is crazy if you think about it. Because every other, like I would say, 90% of plays on Twitter are rugs. Not probably more than that. I'm probably being too generous.
I don't even know
98%.
70K followers on this thing. I have like 4 followers. It's so crazy. It's like I got 5 monad though. That's hilarious.
Just literally just play around on there. You know what I'm saying? Like just talk to people. Like I don't even think you have to talk to people. Just like look and see what people are doing. A lot of their shit's on their page. You can look at their shit coins on their pages and everything. Look at people in the comments. That's what I do. I usually like scroll through the comments, look for the low follower count got people, and then look and see what they're messing with.
I will.
Yo, Melina, thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you guys. I want to meet you. Well, I told Profits I need a private dinner.
We're gonna do something.
I don't want to meet you in the Wizard Club, dressed up as a wizard. I don't want
He's not coming to none of the events. He's not gonna do that.
I know he won't. He shouldn't.
Is Guy in the verse coming?
Of course.
Awesome. So we'll
it's
meet
a
him
special
too?
request. Look.
We want to see you in real life. Yeah, for sure, man.
No, we really appreciate you. Obviously, well, both of you for sure.
I feel like Steve is trying to spike Will's drink.
Nah,
he's gonna be like, all right, what do I think his code is on his phone? I don't have any crypto on my phone, people. All right.
No, actually, you should know this. He's so white. He got the full king treatment in Dubai. Like that's the white boy he is.
That's hilarious. What the fuck is that?
It was hilarious. No, we had a funny time in Dubai. It was some funny weird stuff there.
Weird stuff.
Yeah, like
I can only imagine.
It was weird. I can't put my finger on it. Like what was it weird about it? But a lot of weird stuff. But
Promise,
yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys.
Good night.
I'll see you on the timeline.
Yes, you will.
Bye.
Right, we got to do a proper outro. We can't just say bye. What's going on?
No, me and you can talk for 2 more minutes. I'm about to answer you and let you know what I'm eating.
You can stick around. Don't worry, girl. She's not kicking you off the stream.
No, she wants to go. I know when she's ready to fucking go. She's out of here. It's time to cuddle. It's time to cuddle in the verse. But yeah, no,
cuddle in the verse.
I appreciate everybody coming. We'll be back live. Maybe tomorrow night. We skip Wednesdays, but I mean we're doing this regular streaming thing. But for sure Thursday, 6:40 p.m. Eastern streaming. Get on Twitch, get on X, follow us, appreciate it, abstract, all that good stuff. And yeah, this was good. Appreciate you guys. Peace out.
Thank you.
Good night.